Hi, friends. I'm back today, and since Mother's Day is right around the corner, I thought today we would talk about healing the mother wound and activating our Mamta energy. So, Mamta energy is that divine feminine mothering energy that is naturally present in both men and women. Obviously, women have a lot more of it, and men have a lot more of the um, masculine kind of divine father energy, depending on how they're identified and which energy that essence they identify with. So today, what I want to talk about is that this divine mother energy, this Mamta energy, is present in every little girl when she's born. Like if you have a daughter, or maybe you have a niece or some other little cousin or sister, look at the way that they care about everyone around them. Look at the way that they, cry when another baby's crying, the way that they hold dolls, the way they get excited around other younger babies. There's just this natural Mamta energy that is present in them, right? But as we get older, sometimes there's things that can happen in our life where we start to question our own mothering instinct, or maybe we didn't really receive the skills and training like we thought we should from our own mother. And then we think, oh, well, I really won't be a great mother because like I just don't have that instinct. Well, first of all, that instinct is naturally present in all of us. And I think little girls are like the biggest example of this. And the other thing I want you to realize is that this divine Mamta energy, it's universally available. Like God has mother energy and father energy, right? Everything in nature has mother energy and father energy, depending on what that thing is. So when this divine Mamta energy is channeled through a human being, obviously it's not going to be perfect. Like there's going to be flaws, right? So the first thing we want to understand is that our mothers, they're human beings. Yes, it was their role to be our mother, but they're also human beings. And depending on what situation they had us in, they had a whole bunch of things going on in their life, right? Maybe they didn't receive the proper skills to mother us, or maybe they were just so busy surviving, whatever their emotional or physical state or financial circumstances were, that they just couldn't be the type of mother that they themselves wanted to be. And they knew that we deserved that, but maybe they just weren't able to give that to us, right? But that doesn't mean that you're not worthy. That doesn't mean that you weren't deserving of that. That doesn't mean that they didn't love you. And that certainly doesn't mean that you do not, as a result of that, have that aspect of Mamta energy inside of you, right? Humans aren't perfect. And so the first thing that can help heal that mothering wound is realizing that your mom is a human being and learning more about her, not just as your mother, but as a human, and getting to know her on a personal level. I can't tell you how transformative and healing that was for me. Learning about my mother's childhood, learning about my mom's past, learning about the things that she went through just as a human before she even became my mother, and then while she was my mom. And that really helped me see things in perspective, that the things that I had perhaps judged, her for, realizing this is just a human being trying to do the best that she can with the resources and the understanding and the consciousness that she had at that time. Okay. So your parents' love for you is God-given. Like it's literally ingrained in their DNA. Do you know that your mom is hormonally tied to you until you turn 26? Like that's a scientific fact. So they love you, and sometimes they don't really have the skill sets on showing you that, right? So seeing their intent behind all the humanness and then offering them grace is so huge. Okay. Another thing I want to share with you is that in my culture, and this is part of like Islamic hadith. So in Muslim religion, they believe that the path to heaven is beneath your mother's feet. Like that's literally like a part of like Islamic belief system. So a lot of um, responsibility, a lot of power, a lot of love, respect has been given to this role of mother. And that puts a lot of respect, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility. And one thing that I've noticed in Western culture is that we often disassociate this reverence for the role of mother by calling parents early caregivers. Like you would never in Eastern culture hear your parents being referred to as your early caregivers. There is no replacement for your mother and father. Like that's a very important role. And I think that disassociating them and like taking that respect away from that role, like I'm not saying our parents are perfect, but they are our parents, and there is a certain level of respect that comes with that role. And what I found really helpful for myself and with a lot of my students and clients is we can set boundaries if we need to with our parents, right? Like, of course, there's certain things that are okay and certain things are not okay, right? Maybe you have a mother that's overbearing or, you know, whatever the situation is. You always want to set boundaries from an open heart. So boundaries out is like your heart is closed, your heart is collapsed. I talk about this in my book, and like you're like pushing your mother out. Boundaries in is your heart is open and you are clarifying and letting her know what is okay so that you can remain in a loving, open-hearted position. I think it's really the energy behind it. When we do something or say something with a collapsed heart, we make the other person feel like we're shutting them out. And it's like, get out of here. These are my boundaries, kind of a vibe, right? Versus boundaries in is like, this is what I need to remain a loving person. This is what I need to take our relationship to the next level. This is what I need to let you in more. And that's going to be a very different communication. And this might take a little bit of a process. A lot of times we have these nasty ingrained habits of how we function and we get locked in. But remember, a relationship, any relationship, is a living, breathing dynamic. That means that when you change your half of the dynamic, it creates a ripple effect and then you get a different response, right? You might have to give it a couple months of resetting the dynamic, but you can definitely do that. And you can do that with an open heart. Okay. And the last bit I want to give you is about healing that mother wound. So I want you to look at this in three different dimensions. So what we're going to do to heal the mother wound, maybe we didn't receive the kind of nurturance, care, presence, and guidance from our mother that we need to feel safe in this world, to feel like we belong, to feel like we can trust our own mothering instincts. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at Mamta energy as three different flavors. So mother energy is nurturing, okay, also known as care. Care doesn't mean that you're bailing people out. Care doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. Care doesn't mean that you don't get to have preferences. Care just means you really care about the other person's well-being. That's it. You mean well and you want well for them. Okay, that's care. Now, how do you project this care? That's up to you. Do you express your care by being present and listening and offering empathy? That's one way. Do you express your care by making delicious meals for people? That's another way. Do you express your care through tough love and telling people the truth? That's another way, right? So get really specific on how do you want to express care to those around you, okay? And also, how do you receive care? What makes you feel loved and cared for? The second aspect of Mamta energy is presence. So presence means not like we're always distracted, right? Like we're really listening. We're not like listening to answer. We're not listening to control. We're not listening to like convince. We're just present. We're present. We're present with someone's pain. We're present with, sorry, I think I lost you guys for a second. I'm going to repeat that. So presence means that we are present with whatever is. where we can be present with someone's pain without trying to change or manipulate it. We can be present with someone's real life scenario going on right now. We can be present with someone's love. And so it's just about giving someone space and attention and undivided like presence. And the third one is if they are open to it, obviously we always want to read someone's energy and read the room. And we want to be open to um, giving guidance in Mamta energy, right? We want to guide our children. That is one of our roles as a mother, to offer embodied guidance. So remember these three flavors, and it will help you, because a lot of people say, well, I don't really know what mother energy is, or what is Mamta energy, because I've never received that. So obviously it's so much more than that. But I think that giving you like three most important things, like makes it clear and gives us something to work with, right? I'm not saying that's all of it, but it's something to work with. So what are you going to do to heal the mother wound? You're going to give yourself nurturing care, presence, and guidance. So what you're doing is you're being your own mother in this instinct. Okay. The second layer of the healing is you're going to give others, okay, who are open to it. Obviously, we don't want to mother people that don't want to be mothered by us. So you don't want to mother your partner. That's going to ruin polarity. You don't want to mother your boss unless, like, she's sick and like you want to make her soup or something. You know what I mean? Like, you want to read the room. So you're going to give your nurturance, care, your presence, and your guidance to someone in your life that's open to it. So you're going to give it to yourself. You're going to give it to someone else. And then the third one, and this can often be hardest for women like us that are high achieving, self-aware Barbies. We're the ones that are always in control. We're the ones that are always doing for other people. This can be the hardest. You are going to receive Mamta energy, even if no one's giving it to you, even if it's not really there. So let's say that your mom calls and she is being really judgmental and really critical. And right now, it's very, very hard to receive any Mamta energy from her. You're going to receive it anyways. You're going to find something that she did or said, and you're going to receive it as care. You're going to receive it as presence, and you're going to receive it as guidance. Remember, I didn't say you have to take the guidance. You're just going to open yourself up to receiving it. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to just be from your mother. Like, my mother isn't even alive, right? She's non-physical. I receive mothering and Mamta energy from her all the time. I also receive Mamta energy from other people that love me and care about me. It could be a friend. Sometimes it's even a child. Like, I have my children trying to mother me sometimes. I have my husband trying to mother me sometimes. I receive it. I receive it. I receive it as care. I receive it as presence, and I receive it as guidance. So you can receive it from nature. You can receive it from God. You can receive it from a stranger who opens the door for you, okay, when you're coming out of the grocery store. So this is so transformative. So if you can follow these three guiding principles and you can give it to yourself, give it to others, and then receive it, even if in that moment you're not necessarily receiving it the way that you would have preferred, right? Receive it anyways. And what we're doing is we're exercising and opening up our channels to start receiving more and start noticing. Because sometimes when we have mental stories, remember that our memories reside in the creative part of the brain. That's why every time you retell a story, it's a little different, because a memory resides in the creative area. The story alters every time you share it. And so if we have a story that our mom was unloving or our mom didn't care about us, that story morphs into something bigger or nastier than it really was. So what we're doing is, by receiving and opening ourselves to receive it in any way that it's coming in, we're actually opening up our brain as well, not only our heart, but our brain, to start dismantling this old story and seeing that, hey, people are a lot more loving and nurturing, then I realized maybe my story was blocking it. This has been my experience. Oh my God, this after I did my healing inner work around my father wound and my mother wound, all of these memories of my parents being there for me, sacrificing their life for me, caring for me, all these happy memories started flooding through my system that I had repressed. The reason I repressed them because my story was that my parents weren't loving towards me. So of course I'm not gonna remember the good times where they were, right? I was remembering the 1% of the times that they showed up as unloving and repressing and blocking the 99% of the times that they were actually very nurturing and loving, right? So the brain can be very tricky. Our memories can be very tricky because of our stories that we create. So by doing this healing exercise, you're going to start resetting yourself to be open to receiving in new ways that maybe you have forgotten. All right, I hope this finds you well and happy Mother's Day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.